Good evening, people. Welcome back to Kwings Let's Plays, and tonight is a special presentation of Night in the Woods. Or, wait, is that it right? Yeah, Night in the Woods. Alright, so since this is late night, I can't be too loud, obviously, because I have a neighbor downstairs. But we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna do some stuff in this game. And then tomorrow morning we have the Nintendo Direct, we've got Lego Batman, and Amina the Hollower stream. That's the plan for tomorrow. Those asking about the where winds meet, where you guys stand right now. Hello, Link. You are at 815 views. So that means 900. You have about, yeah, roughly about 200 views to go. Something like that. Linky, what are you doing? Linky. Linky. Link. Linky, link, 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 link. How do we play that thing again? Oh, right, yeah. No, that's not it. Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, we don't know, Wally, if YouTube's gonna erase views for the, usually if you get below 1,000 views, they just start erasing views like crazy. So. Oh, yeah, right. No, I can't go across there. Well, that's concerning. It's probably too loud. No, not too loud for you guys, but the TV's too loud for me. I think the hardest thing about this thing, too, is sharing a bathroom with a cat. Hello, Soulflare. Let's do... Where is... Ah. Thank you very much for renewing, Gamer Gal, and I hope you enjoy your stream. Okay, cool. Alright. Oh, that dude looks tough. That could be trouble. Yeah, no, two guys could be trouble. Ooh! Oh. Oh. Still going, huh? Yo. Oh, there's stamina, that's right. Yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah, I put Link in the thumbnail for the Nintendo Direct tomorrow, because it's his 40th anniversary. Let's see if Nintendo forgets his 40th anniversary. Were they cooking all along, or are they just going to skip the Zelda's 40th anniversary? We'll find out. Yeah, this is like Gauntlet. Ah. Oh, that's mean. Oh, they burst into flames too. That's interesting. Whoa. Ow. How many fireballs can it shoot? Holy cow. Oh my gosh. I can't get in. No! Well, that happened. Oh, there's a dash. That would have helped. There we go. Link, you want to hang out or what? I mean, we can talk about the rumor. So the rumor is Nintendo's Direct tomorrow is going to consist of a brand new Zelda game is going to be teased for 2028. Fire Emblem, more info on the new Fire Emblem game coming out this summer, unless it's been delayed. New Mario game. DLC for Mario Kart, I doubt. A Zelda 4K, or not, a Zelda collection of some kind. And then the announcement of the Zelda 64 remake. And like a few other small things like Pokemon and I don't remember what else. I think that the Zelda 64 rumor's legit. I don't think the Zelda collection is happening because every leaker, every Nintendo influencer always says, this is the year we're getting a Zelda HD collection. And every year, no matter how many Nintendo Directs we get, it never happens. So I don't think the leak is true because I don't think we're going to get a Zelda HD collection. I just don't. I don't see that happening. Not when Nintendo can easily put Twilight Princess on the GameCube section of the Switch 2, like they did. Where is the GameCube? Where is my GameCube? Been a while since I looked at the GameCube. Holy crap, where'd it go? What? Game Boy Advance. Where's GameCube? Yo. What the? What? Where is it? Well, that's weird. Unless I haven't looked at it in a long time. Nope, there's Nintendo Mature. Where is the GameCube? What on earth? What? Well, how am I supposed to check out new GameCube games if it's not listed anymore? Where did it go? That's bizarre. Do you guys see it? I don't see it. I do not see the GameCube app anywhere. I don't know, you guys, you say you're thankful for like physical games, but if I didn't have digital games, I would have no games after that company stole all my stuff. I'd have no games. So I do like digital to an extent, but I'm not seeing GameCube anymore. Try searching it. I can search. I'm gonna search reorder filter. Well, downloaded software is not gonna help. Groups? No. Reorder? One sec. Probably have to reinstall it. Weird. Yeah, I'm doing, unless it's saying that I didn't do my membership. I know I did my membership. Yeah, I'm still a member, so what the heck? Weird. Oh. Is it over here now? They moved it? No, it's not installed. Okay, so I have to reinstall it. This is where I go to reinstall. Okay. So yeah, anyway, just like you have the Wind Waker HD, right? I think they're just, or not Wind Waker HD. Stupid. Just like they re-released Wind Waker on GameCube, I think they're going to do the same thing for Twilight Princess. In fact, I would really think tomorrow, instead of getting a Zelda collection, they're just going to re-release Twilight Princess on the Nintendo GameCube section. I really think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to announce Smash Brothers, but it could happen. I don't know how many years it's been since the last Smash Brothers. It's been a while. But you have to understand that the next Smash Brothers for Switch 2 is not going to be better than Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's going to be like another Mario Kart World situation. It won't have as many characters. And, yeah. Because, I mean, Smash Brothers Ultimate was like a huge undertaking. If anything, I'm surprised you're not getting a Nintendo Switch 2 Smash Brothers whatever edition. Yeah. Bloop. Ah ha ha, I'm burning alive. Oh no 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 no. Stupid. Isn't there a way for me to get health in this? Oh no. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and get health. We need health. Your hero needs food badly. Hi, Gamer Gal. How you doing? So just, you know, Gamer Gal, the late night streams, I need to be a little bit quieter because I'm trying to be considerate to my neighbor downstairs. She's an elderly lady. And I have a big booming voice, so I haven't, like, after like 11 o'clock at night, I'm not very expressive anymore. So I can't get too wild and crazy with my voice. Hope that's okay. Yeah, but if I was a betting man, I would say that Twilight Princess is going to be announced as a GameCube Classics thing. Wait, somebody from Buffy died? I didn't even know that. I'm doing okay, Gamer Gal. Thank you very much for your support, and it's cool you have us on in the background. Oh wow, they roasted the cat themselves. Yikes. Haha, you didn't see that coming. Gotcha. No, 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 I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. Stop. Ah! Stupid. An Ultimate member can only request one game per month. Yeah. Unless I have to, like, unless I have backups. Like, I have to do another stream for Gamer Gal. I have to do I have to do 2 streams for Carlos. I have to do 2 streams for Naomi. I have to do 3 streams for James. Like 3 Gundam streams. Because I missed some. So I have to play catch up. Because I was moving and stuff, so. And I was in the hospital. I had to play catch up. Oh no, I don't have a key to get through. Nope, no key. Welp. Oh, those things are ghosts. I see. You've never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It was before your time, Kiki PJ. It was a 90s show. It was one of the most popular 90s shows. Like, we actually had... The 90s, we had a lot of great shows, man. Primetime was really good. We had Lois and Clark. We had Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We had Friends. We had Frasier, Seinfeld, Home Improvement. Fresh Prince was on Saturdays. Hercules, The Legendary Journeys was on Saturdays. Buffy was at night. Murder, She Wrote was at night. We had a lot more comedy than action shows, though. Ooh, I think Alias was a 2000 show, though, with, what's her face? What was Alias was... Is that Ben Affleck's wife? Michelle Garner? Was she Alias? I can't remember. I think so. Yeah, we had a lot of great shows, though, back then. I have no idea where to get this key. Nope. Oh, I see. Probably this way. Yep. Oh, no. We're gonna die. Whoa! Whoa! Holy crap! Oh wow, you're not too bright. Okay. No, 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 no! You remember Charmed? Yeah, there was... Charmed was a thing. Boy Meets World. There was a lot of shows, but... I always like the action shows were really cool. Whoops. Yeah, Alias, Jennifer Garner. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was early 90s. Saved by the Bell, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Home Improvement, oh, right. Well, Full House started in the 80s, so... But Full House pretty much finished up in the early 90s. Boy Meets World finished up in the 2000s, I think. 1999, 2000. That show went on for a long time. No, I'm pretty old. I've been around a long time. I've been around since video games were popular. So... Ow. I really thought we were going to see another video game crash, though, because the industry was in a very bad shape because of all the activists. I really thought we were going to hit another crash like 1983. Well, the 1983, the reason for the video game industry crashed was because of greed. The reason why the video game industry would have crashed would have been because of dumb practices. Like dumb business decisions. leading to low profits and other things. It almost happened, but thankfully the game industry kind of changed its... Well, they didn't change their mind. They made a very important decision that we don't want to go out of business. We don't want to go out of business for a bunch of people's feelings who don't buy products. And that's the core difference between gamers and non-gamers and game activists. Game activists, they pound their chest and they demand inclusion and, you know, all this other stuff, but they don't buy anything. They just yell and scream and they're like a vocal minority. That's it. And they demand developers do everything they say, but they don't actually buy anything. Which is why Japan's to the point they're like, screw globalization, we don't care anymore. I have to hit this with my sword? What? What does that say? B button? Wait. Ah, there we go. I think we're going to see the game industry make a great recovery now, though. I was saying before, though, I don't know what side to declare myself, so I'm just going to call myself a gamer because I don't agree with the woke people and I don't agree with the anti-woke. And I'm furious because, like, I don't know. There's been a lot of weird takes with Castlevania, like, the past couple days, with people who have never played, like, you know, some of the games I grew up with, like Castlevania, The Adventure, and things like that. Sonia Belmont, and, like, all the different female, like, leads and stuff, and not just female leads, but, like, other female characters that have been in several Castlevania games, like Carrie Fernandez from Castlevania 64 and Legacy of Darkness, and you have Portrait of Ruin, which is my favorite. And you had a descendant of Sypha as a main character. So, I mean, it really feels to me like a lot of people with YouTube channels are just like professional rage baiters. Like, and I remember, like, when we were trying to gatekeep and stuff and keep, like, people out of the game industry, our core complaint was we don't want body types 1 and 2. We don't want specialty genres to be in mainstream games, you know. We don't want ugly characters. We don't want censorship. Like, we were united on those fronts. And now it's like people while out when they see a girl in a game. And before it was like, oh, we don't like that the character's ugly. But they just completely changed their tune now, and it's like all women, and it's like, I'm out. You know, I don't agree with that. I was fighting against censorship, ugly characters, pronouns, all that stuff. You know, forcing gender ideology nonsense and banter and, you know, all that SJW stuff. Like, I was definitely against all that other stuff, but just the idea of women in a video game, I mean, come on, that's stupid. There's been women in games as long as I've been alive. It's like, what are they talking about? Someone explain to me how Rose is a girl boss. I don't understand. I don't get it anymore. And I think the reason why they're acting like this is because they know that if they stop doing it, then the grift is over. Like, I think that they've put themselves in a corner so much that they have to keep it going to keep their audience so they make a living. Because as soon as they start to have, like, common sense or start to talk non-crazy or whatever, or non-angry, they're going to lose their entire install base. Ow. That's what I think it is now. Like, they played the game too long, especially when... Remember when I was telling people, like, I think it was 2 years ago, 2024, it's like, it's kind of at this point, it's a beating a dead horse because female characters are looking attractive in games again. You know, we're catching up with Japan with, like, great-looking character models and cool-looking games and stuff. So, war's over, we won. And they kept the war going. And I use that analogy a while ago. It was like that. Did you guys remember that famous story about the Japanese soldier in World War II? He didn't believe that the war was over between Japan and America, so he was on an island between Japan and the United States. And he was there for 40 years. And he kept fighting his guerrilla warfare against the island's inhabitants because he thought that Americans and, you know, Europeans were on that island. And, you know, he never realized that Japan surrendered 40 years ago, so he just kept fighting. So the war between woke and anti-woke has been over for about a year and a half. Like, most of the changes, you have to admit, most of the changes that people demanded, pretty characters, no censorship, Dead or Alive and Stellar Blade and a bunch of games are coming back with female attributes and all this other stuff, which wasn't allowed before because woke people said, no, you can't have this. This is sexism or whatever nonsense they said. You can't have that. So people can have that again now. There's somewhat of a compromise with games, like we saw with James Bond. So, I mean, the war is over, and what these guys are doing is they're like that poor Japanese soldier that was stuck on the island for 40 years. That's what it is. Pretty much. Holy cow. And I don't know about you, but the war is over. I don't want to be a stranded soldier continuing to fight for something that has already been achieved. Everything that I wanted to see achieved was achieved, so there's no reason for me to really cast my lot in with people anymore, because I'm seeing progress in a good way. I'm seeing baby steps in the game industry, and that's important. Whoops. But it was a sad story to learn. I mean, his entire company was on that island, and several of them got killed, but they didn't get killed during wartime. That's what's so bad. They were living on that island, eating wild animals, and, you know, they were rags and all kinds of stuff because they had no supplies. And 2 of them ended up getting accidentally killed by the island's inhabitants because people were shooting at them, and the islanders started to shoot back because they didn't know what was happening. So you had some people that, you know, thought that the war ending was propaganda, but 2 of them actually died, you know, not even as soldiers. They died from civilian, you know, fire. Like I think they're fellow Japanese islanders. I don't know. It was very sad, but I mean, the guy, he ended up reunited with his wife and stuff. She lived a long time. The sad thing is, after he got off the island, he only lived for 15 years and then he died. You know, he had all kinds of trauma and other things that that was it. He didn't live very long. Well, I mean, he lived a long time on the island, excuse me. He was like 30, 40 years on that island, but he only, after Japan and wartime or whatever, I think in the 1970s, I think it was the 70s or the early 80s, he went back to civilization. And he got to be with his wife or girlfriend for like 15 years before he passed away. It was a very sad story, though. It's fascinating, but, you know, it's sad. But like I said, I'm a guy that you can't tell me that I don't see changes happening in the game industry. Even though, you know, people, what they like to do now, the activists, they like to claim, oh, they're responsible for that. But I remember when they were writing the articles saying that a character in a bathing suit is basically gooner porn. And that, like, what else? That having attractive women hurts real women. Like, all that nonsense. And now they're saying, we never said that characters couldn't be pretty. You're you know, moving the goalpost. But that's what their whole thing was for like 6 or 7 years. And I still have articles that I've taken pictures of to remind myself of how crazy woke people were. You know? But now, because the war is over, they're trying to find that they're actually, like, right in the sense that they're saying, yeah, all these people are saying they have problems with women in gaming. So they're spinning it another way. But they were always the bad guys, just they look like, you know, they look like the good guy because the other people are acting completely insane now. It's like Cobra, you guys are probably too young for this, but when I was a kid, there was an episode of G.I. Joe where Cobra convinces the world that G.I. Joe is the bad guy. And Cobra succeeds for like 2 or 3 episodes. And then G.I. Joe is able to prove their innocence and that Cobra is manipulating everybody. That's what's going on right now, is you have like all these people that are like, see, look at the anti-woke, they were the problem all along. So they're Cobra, and they're manipulating the world, or like some people. And the Joes are seen as the bad guys because they're doing stupid stuff right now. Will they ever stop being stupid? I don't know. But, you know, eventually they're going to have to be like, we need to stop the grift and just like, you know, be normal again. But they want the money. They want to chase that bag, man. So they're going to keep acting like a fool, basically, and yelling, like an old man yelling at a cloud or something like that. They're just going to keep going so they make money. That's honestly what I think they're doing. And I don't think I'm too far off in that assumption either. But at the same time, I believe them acting this way is going to seriously hurt their cause. I don't think it's going to cause a rebound for the game activists, because Japan hates them now. Japan is like, oh, okay, we blame you for Final Fantasy because of the globalization. We blame you for anime, for that stuff. So we're going to remove globalization. We hate headcanons, all this other stuff. So, I mean, it's never going to go back to the way that activists wanted it from like 5 or 6 years ago, because Japan is not a big fan of foreigners right now. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to come to the table and have some type of compromise so that, you know, gamers can just enjoy games again. Because before they weren't willing to compromise. Only after defeat are they willing to compromise, which is very similar to wartime, you know? An enemy is not willing to talk peace when they're at war, but when, you know, the war is over, then it's time for peace. That's where I am with all of them. Like, I think it's time to sit down and, you know, talk to them and be like, all right, you lost. This is what we're willing to do if you want to keep your job or whatever. And if you don't go with the times, you're not going to have a job anymore. It's that simple. Because there's no more censorship. There's no more of any of this stuff. And you can't censor this because you have no power anymore. So you just have to get with the program. Because Japan is never going to listen to you again. Which is a huge win, but at the same time, Japan is mad at all foreigners. So it's going to find a way of biting us in the butt, watch. Because I follow a lot of Japanese Twitter accounts, because you know that Japan is all over X or Twitter now and Facebook, because like the what do they call that? The not embargo, the what do they call that thing when you are region locked? The region locking between America and Japan is over. So Japanese people can see our social media, we can see theirs. It's region free now, which is going to be a blessing and a curse for some things. But Japan is not happy with foreigners right now. They don't even think we matter in terms of marketing their products anymore. Like that, they're like full scale, like kind of like going back to how it was in the 90s. Like we had to dub shows in a very strange way because Japan wasn't willing to play ball with us. Which is why you had like those really weird Sailor Moon and Ronin Warrior dubs, which you guys were way too young for. But let me tell you, the Pokemon, Sailor Moon, and Ronin Warrior dubs were some of the funniest dubs ever made. And, you know, the voice actors just had a blast doing it. But for the past like 20 years, Japan has very strict, or had strict regulations about like subtitled anime and dubs and things like that, and they've been completely unaware of how like insane American localizers are, to the point where Japan is actually going to do a lot of localizing in Japan because they don't think Americans can handle it, which they're not wrong about. I think they're totally correct about that. Whoop. I'm missing the key. Somehow. The key, we need the key. I can't get forward without the key. And if you guys are wondering, is this an auto-generated dungeon? I don't think so. I don't think they thought that far ahead of having a dungeon that constantly refreshes. But I could be wrong. It looks the same to me, but then again, I've been here for a while, so. But yep, I believe in times of victory, it's important to sit down with the enemy and come to some type of understanding as well as a compromise. Because you're going to have to work with these people whether you like them or not. And the same thing with the people who lost. I mean, you're not able to censor stuff anymore. You're not able to get rid of and make every like character look androgynous or whatever, you know. Making it look like all females had to look like a mix between a boy and a girl. Now, you know, characters are able to look like a girl again, and guys are able to look like a guy. And there's nothing in the middle anymore, as it should be. It was such a weird time the past, like, 5 or 6 years. I think it was 6 or 7 years. It's crazy. And as someone who's, like, I think what made me really get invested with all this stuff, too, is you have to remember, I grew up and gaming was normal for, like, 35 years. And seeing it drastically change and, like, lose profits and, you know, make this insane backlash, it was hard for me to just be like, I'm just going to let them do their own thing. And then, of course, they swatted me, but prior to that point, it was like, I really thought we were going to see a major game crash because gamers were boycotting in the millions. AAA titles were failing left and right. You know that 2024 was like the weakest profits in the game industry in probably 35 years? This is really bad. And they don't even acknowledge their hand in it. They're like, oh, this happened. But it's like they don't have any accountability for the things that they did. Like, they literally almost torpedoed the game industry for 6 or 7 years, and they still only care about, my feelings are hurt, and, you know, mean gamers and things like that. It's like they didn't even learn anything. It's stupid. Okay, boss time again. That's why I call these people, like, non-gamers, because when you fail in a video game, what happens? You fail in the video game, you do what? You learn what your mistake was, and you improve, right? That's what it means to be a gamer. Especially if you're a gamer from the 90s. You failed all the time. You died constantly. Had to learn patterns, had to memorize certain things, had to know what weapons to use, how many potions to have on hand. If you were playing an RPG, how many levels do you have to be grinded in order to fight that boss? Or to clear that, you know, insane challenge? Like, you have to constantly be adapting as a gamer to improve. Game activists and game tourists, they don't adapt because they're not gamers. They don't love it. They don't care. They're there to change the hobby. They're not there to improve it. Change is the key word. But they don't want to change themselves or improve themselves because they believe they're already perfect. You're the problem. You and your ancient gaming ways. How dare you be a gamer? Whoop. Ow. Crap, crap, crap. No, you can't. Once you get stuck in there, that's not fair. I don't know the learning curve for this yet. Now I know that if the thing's... Like, if you get stuck on that thing's throne, you can't even get out. I even tried to dash away and nothing happened. It was a... Why do we fall, gamers, so we can learn to pick ourselves up again? Yeah, but think about it. If you were a gamer in the 90s and the early 2000s, how many games kicked your butt on a daily basis? I can name lots of games. I even know, as a kid, like, I had rage issues. I broke a lot of controllers, right? That's because I grew up with games like Bayou Billy, which is insane, by the way. Uncanny X-Men, which is impossible to beat on NES. Broke a controller with that game. Grand Stream Saga on PlayStation is a almost near impossible action RPG that's in the vein of like Legend of Zelda, but it is nothing like the Legend of Zelda. It just was one of the first PlayStation games I ever played that had not only voice acting, but it had anime in it. Because I actually played that game before I met Lunar, Silver Star Story. Like, I somehow randomly found Grand Stream Saga, and it's GRAN Stream Saga, not Grand Stream. That's a completely different brand. But the game looked really cool, and it was at my Blockbuster. I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this game. You know, I got to rent the PlayStation, and off I go. Because you could rent game systems back then. Which you could. Ow. So Grand Stream Saga, like, I ended up breaking one of my controllers over that. The game was incredibly frustrating. There was also a very frustrating boss in... how many of you guys ever played Eternal Darkness? So, there's multiple ways that you can complete Eternal Darkness on GameCube, by the way. But in order to get the real ending of the game, you have to go through, and accomplish, like, getting a certain type of ability at the beginning of the game first. So, if you take the green path, the game is somewhat easy to do, but the game feels unfulfilling when you complete everything, when you do all, like, 9 or 10 chapters. Then if you go the red route, the red spell route, because you have to pick your element, you know, then things get a little harder. But if you pick the purple element, you cannot beat the World War I boss, because you're missing a healing power that doesn't unlock until you complete the World War I boss. So I literally took a GameCube controller and I snapped it in half because I got so angry. And then I got sad afterwards because my GameCube controller was now broken. You know? I didn't think of the repercussions. I was just really angry. But that's just how games were back then. And even like, I don't think I've ever completely beaten all the paths in Eternal Darkness because I can't beat that World War I boss. No matter how many years it's been, I can beat it on the green and the red path, but I can't beat it on the purple. Because you're only awarded one of the new abilities after completing the journey or whatever. So if you go in without a healing ability, you're screwed. And that's basically what happens, is the developers weren't really thinking that through. They're like, oh, okay. You're going to come to a point where you're going to need to heal fighting that World War I giant, I don't know, monster in the cathedral or the church or something. But if you can't heal, you're done. There's nothing you can do. Because there's no other healing items other than you have to use the spell of healing or whatever it's called. I don't remember. So yeah, I got really mad. I broke the controller, and I stopped breaking controllers after 2006. One, it became very expensive, and two, games started to have what I noticed as a game journalist, the curve was going down. Like from 1986 until like 2005, video games were very, very hard. Like insanely hard. And then after 2006, I started to notice, right around the time that the Wii came out, that gaming kind of was starting to... Either my skills were getting amazing, which, no. The difficulty curve was starting to go down. Like kind of like, think of it, you're at the top of a staircase, and now all of a sudden you feel kind of like, as you go down, this is kind of nice. It's getting a little bit easier. The problem is, then the game industry started to do this thing where every, like, 9 years, you would go down another step, and then another step. And then, for the most part, every game, you'll notice, like, especially as you age, it gets easier and easier and easier. Either your skills as a gamer are getting significantly better, or they're actually making the games easier. And I wrote an entire article about this for a publication I work for, and I was actually proven correct. Now, in Japan and China, though, they don't lower the difficulty. So if you're playing an imported game from Japan or China, it's going to kick your butt. Because they don't do that. They don't believe in doing that, really. Americans have gotten to the point where, the games are getting wicked easy because they're trying to attract non-gamers to play games. But that's why we have the tourist problem now, is the game activists and stuff came from the Wii era. They're not from the GameCube era. They're not from the PlayStation. They're from the Wii and Xbox 360 era of gaming, when gaming was getting easier. That's how they got into, you know, our once, like, sacred ground. Is they became a part of it because the games that they played offered no real challenge. I got stuck in a fire thing and there's nothing you can do. You can't escape or anything like that. A teleportability would be really nice here, but there is no teleportability. Wii's Rainbow Road is beautiful. I'm not a great philosopher. I've just been around a long time. I've been gaming since the 80s, so I've seen... You have to remember, I have like a very unique perspective because I've seen gaming go from 8-bit... No, actually, I'll go even further back. I saw gaming as text on a PC in the 80s. Then I saw Atari. Then I saw the NES, then Game Boy, Genesis, arcade games, Super Nintendo, N64, Game Boy Color, Game Gear, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, GameCube, PS2, Xbox, all that stuff. So I've literally seen like the birth of gaming and how it started and where it is now, where everything is like this grandiose cinematic experience. But at the same time, I've noticed in order to appease new customers in the West, every 10 years or every 9 years, they keep lowering the difficulty for most games. Indie games, you have to remember, indie developers, like these guys, they grew up with the same type of games I did. So that's why indie games are insanely difficult, like Super Meat Boy and stuff like that. They do that on purpose because they're trying to recreate the dread feeling that they had in the 80s and 90s when they played 8-bit games. That's why indie games are insanely difficult, and that's why most people who play indie games are in their 30s or 40s. Like, the target demographic for indie games outside of cozy games don't really have a demographic. They're just trying to offer you games that have no challenge, no death. They're just time wasters, right? Because even in point-and-click games, you can die. But this indie game is spanking me because, for one, I'm not accustomed to games with this type of difficulty anymore because the curve has been lowered so much in the last 20 years that most of the games that I play doesn't really offer a challenge. The Bond games I was dying a lot in because you were only able to use your gun at key parts of the game. It reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Staff of King. Whereas the Bond games that I'm accustomed to, Bond can shoot people whenever he wants. So I had to get used to that mechanic, and me punching people all the time, I had to find what worked best, and how I ended up cheesing the Bond game to make it more fun for you guys is I ended up just like running into people and throwing them off the rail. Now when you throw somebody off a rail in the video game, that's game over. You know? It's like they can't recover from that. It's not like they can climb the ladder that's next to them. They fall 2 floors, they're dead. Or they fall in the ocean, they don't come back. So I had to adapt to my limitations in, you know, those types of like stealth action games, and I was like, okay, how can I keep this series going and make it entertaining for people? I'm just gonna yeet people off the rail. And that's exactly what I do. Go back and look at my Bond gameplay. Majority of the game after episode 4, I'm just tossing people off railings, tossing them off cliffs, tossing them out windows. I'm not really giving them a chance to fight me. I'm literally sneaking up behind them and just like yeeting them. Because 1, it's a fast way to eliminate them in the game. And 2, it's funny. Sometimes there was a Wilhelm scream too, so it was worth it. Ah! I enjoyed that. That was hilarious. But this game is a tried and true indie game that's going to spank you royally. And, you know, that's okay. But the demographic for indie games like this is usually for people that are older. Because they can handle games beating them. For fun, I don't follow activists on Twitter, but they trend all the time. And one of the core things that they complain about with their, what's the word I'm looking for? What's that thing? Accessibility. One of the core things they complain about and they champion for is accessibility in games, which is to make games even easier. So they don't play a lot of indie games that have a challenge because they can't play them. Because there's no accessibility option to lower the difficulty. And even that Chinese game I was playing today, like, if you compare to what was happening in the two gameplay styles, when the Chinese developers, NetEase, says, okay, we're going to lower the difficulty for you, that's not what they do. When you choose the story option, what happens is, which is the same as some Gundam games that Japan does, so I can tell you this from different types of experiences I've had. When you put the story mode option in the game of the where winds meet or whatever, all it does is it slows down the game a millisecond before the guy hits you, and the game is expecting you to block. The difficulty doesn't change. What changes is they allow you to, instead of, you know, learning the parry system and things like that, they help you through it. But they don't change the boss's health. They don't change how much the boss damages you. They don't change how much damage you receive from the boss. All they do is they just, like, add a little prompt, like a QTE, for when you're supposed to hit block. That's it. And I know what I'm talking about because I experienced both modes tonight, and they were virtually identical, except for when the QTE thing happened, which, yeah, it made the game a lot easier for me to play after that, but I wasn't doing nearly any damage to the bosses whatsoever, so it was like a long game of chicken. And it wasn't quite like roly-poly in Dark Souls either. In Dark Souls, you can kind of cheese the game if you get really good at rolling and you get really good, what's the word I'm looking for? Shoot, it's late. What is that word? Get really good, not experience. Not stamina. I know it starts with an E. Shoot. It's basically like stamina. Endurance. There it is. ADD thing. So, when you get more endurance for your character in, like, Souls games, you can roll and you can maneuver and whatever, and then it's like hit and run tactics. You go up, you hit the boss, you run away. If you're really skilled and you're crazy, you're going to continually attack the boss, but I don't recommend it. Especially for new players to Souls, you'll get completely destroyed. So for me, once I build up my endurance, I'm able to roll, attack, roll, attack. Does it take longer? Yes, but I've beaten Dark Souls by playing roly-poly the whole game. There is no enemy that you can't evade, except for maybe like one or two bosses. But that's much later, and by that point, you'll have better gear and better weapons and things like that. Your loadout will be much better. But once you learn the mechanic of roly-poly, then the Dark Souls games don't seem as scary as they were. Like, everybody, like, a lot of casual players, when they see Dark Souls, they get terrified. They're like, ah! And Elden, or not Elden, shoot. I forgot the name of the spin-off Dark Souls thing. It is Elden Ring, isn't it? Or is it not Elden Ring? I think it is Elden Ring. I can't remember. Oh, snap. Holy cow. And this game has some stamina, too. Ow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, I didn't even see it. No, don't die from the skeleton, please. Okay, so we're gonna have to go back and get health. If we don't, we're gonna die. Let me just say, though, the boss in this... What am I in? Chapter 12 or whatever of this? The boss here is incredibly cheesy. No. And you can't get away from it very well. Like, the boss is really nasty. Like, coming up. You make one mistake and you get trapped, it's just gonna kill you and you can't even dodge. That's the thing. Like, they should have given you, like, an invincibility frame of, like, a few seconds so you could at least, like, dodge out of the way, like quick step or something. But they don't give it to you. As soon as that giant boss gets you in its sights, you're dead. And I don't like that. That's annoying. There probably is a workaround, but I don't think I'm going to figure it out this late at night. Most likely not. Yes, Fred does have a catchphrase. You don't know what Fred's catchphrase is? He's been saying it for like 50 years. Fred's catchphrase is what? Ow. Fred's entire role of the show, he does what? What does he say? Fred's catchphrase is the longest catchphrase. It's, "Let's split up, gang." Even though it's a bad idea, that's what he tells people. Every episode of Scooby-Doo that Fred is in, "Let's split up, gang. Shaggy, Scooby, you go this way." And then Shaggy and Scooby's like, "Rad idea." Like, yeah, Fred, like, why are we doing this, man? But Fred's catchphrase is, "Let's split up." It's true. Everybody says this. Just because Shaggy, Scooby, Velma, and Daphne have short catchphrases of a single word, it doesn't mean that Fred doesn't have a catchphrase that he's been using since the 60s. He has. It's, "Let's split up." It's true. Holy crap. Whoa. No, no, no. See, you get stuck. I'm scared. I'm scared. Ow. See how that thing drains your health? Holy crap, that's hard. Ah. How's New York been treating me? Okay. I mean, my house is smaller. I have a noise ordinance that I have to follow. No, I'm serious. Freddie Jones's catchphrase is, "Let's split up, gang." It's true. I'm not lying. It's his actual catchphrase. Yeah, the evolution of Fred's, it's a real thing. Even Google AI says it's his catchphrase. Fred Jones is famous for saying, "Let's split up, gang," since the 1960s. The phrase is so iconic that it became a running trope and a joke throughout the franchise. Originally, it was supposed to be a one-word thing. Like, Fred was going to say something different every episode, but "Let's split up, gang," "Let's split up and look for clues," all that other stuff. They tried to give Fred a new catchphrase in the 2000s called "Hold the Phone," which he used it in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated and Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. Now let's see who this really is. Both Fred and Velma use that line. But yeah, Fred's famous catchphrase is, "Let's split up, gang." It's longer, but it's true. Skeletons don't have muscles. It's just an indie game, though. You're overthinking it. Alright, I'm gonna try one more time. Oh, I'm not even that far. This is stage 4. Jeez. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. This is actually just a mini game inside of a point-and-click game, sort of. It's not even. It's a fun little mini game that I like that's built into this game. Fooled you. I don't even know how long the minigame goes in this. Like, maybe minigame is a wrong thing to say. This is like a, it's like another game built into the main game. But it's really, really hard. It's like Gauntlet cranked to 11. And the original Gauntlet game on NES, or excuse me, the arcades, is very, very hard. Incredibly hard. I don't think I've beaten the original Gauntlet. I've beaten the more modern, excuse me, I've beaten the GameCube and the N64, and one other Gauntlet. They did a modern remake of Gauntlet like 16 years ago, and they made it really dark and edgy. I beat that, and that was actually much easier than even Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I wonder if I still have my Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I don't know. That's a very rare GameCube game. I'm gonna have to go through my GameCube book. I think I might still have that. But I don't have my save file anymore because I don't have my, I have my memory cards. Which sucks. So, I mean, there is some things to like about modern gaming. Like, you guys didn't have this excuse, but as kids, we would tell our parents, you have to wait till I get to a save point, because I can't do anything till I get to a save point. We had a password system that would bring us back to the beginning of a stage, but we couldn't really leave our progress off exactly where we wanted to. You guys have lots of things you could do. You can pause for dinner, you know, your modern systems, and do this. And when you come back, the game goes right back to how it was. We would have to pause the game, and hope that there would be no power outage. Because if there was a power outage, then we have to start all over again with the passcode system. So, I mean, that was a really cool thing to see, too, growing up, is you went from video games not really being able to save to video games being able to save wherever you want, whenever you want. Which is a really nice feature of modern games. It's probably one of my favorite features, like, you can continue the game wherever you want, whenever you want, without any problems. Unless your, you know, your system becomes corrupted. Then, of course, you can't, but... Ugh. But, I think wisdom has to do with just, like, experience, like being around a long time. That's probably why old people are so wise, is they've lived it, they've experienced it, so they're able to make kind of like a cheat sheet for life in a way, sort of, but their best years are behind them, so they're hoping that the young people that come after them will actually listen to what they have to say so that they can have not the same problems. But the problem is, outside of Japan, most young people don't listen to their elders. They cop an attitude and whatever, you know? Whereas Japan, The reason why Japanese people are miles smarter than us is because they actually listen to the advice of their elders. They respect their elders. And they don't make the same mistakes that their elders made. That's why they're a very different culture than our culture. I've made a lot of mistakes that my grandparents and other people told me to avoid. Especially, like, my grandpa was trying to teach me how to do stocks and, you know, to do that kind of stuff to make life easier, like, later on. I still don't really know how to invest very well. I wish I would have paid attention to my relatives that knew how to do that, because my dad doesn't know how to invest either. So, you know, he doesn't have a lot of money. That's why he's a paramedic at the age of 60. He retired as being a minister after 38 years, and then he became a paramedic. I'm like, what? That is such a weird thing, Dad. And such a dangerous thing to do at your age. Which you're old, so. But. I feel a lot older than I am because I've seen technology change so quickly. Because before, when it went like this, okay? This is how quick everything went, from my perspective. In the 80s, we had corded phones. In the mid-80s, we started to get cordless phones. Then, in the late to early 90s, we got cell phones, which looked like walkie-talkies. Then cordless phones could be taken outside up to, like, almost 10 or 20 feet away from your house. Then you had car phones. Then the cell phones got smaller by the year 2000, and they got a better signal, and the antenna was much smaller. Then you could play video games on your cell phone. Then you could watch TV on your cell phone. And all of it was like a change, like within... The Nokia phones came out in 2002. You could start playing like certain Sonic games and some other Sega games because they had a partnership with Nokia like around 2005, 2004. You could start playing certain video games on your Nokia phone. And then the Apple iPhone, I think, came out in 2006 or 2007. And then people were, not long after that, they were able to play, or they were able to watch television or whatever. And then you had specific mobile, like, really nice-looking 3D games by, like, 2010? No. Scratch that. 2008, because they had no. On mobile? It was 2010. One of the coolest-looking mobile games I ever saw that I still can't play anymore was the Dark Knight Rises mobile game. Actually looked really good for its day. It's pretty incredible. So you're gonna be cheeky like that, huh? Whoa! Come on, let me kill you. Snap. How are you able to move that quickly with the skeletons shouldn't be able to support your weight because they have no muscles. Shoot. Shoot. Can it only dash once? No. So it has to be looking at me to attack that way? It looks like, yeah, it needs to be looking at me to attack that way. So if it's not looking at me, I can attack it the other way. I think that's the trick. Now, putting this into practice is a lot different than... So he has to be looking at me. Yeah. He has to be looking at me. Ooh! Oh, he's looking at me. He's looking. He's looking. He's looking. Please don't look at me. It's terrifying. Okay, did you change pattern again? You stupid. No, 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 no. Even though I know the code, I can't do this. I'm gonna panic. Oh, crap. Oh! Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Ooh! Ooh! What? What? What is this? What is this? What is happening? Why do you have another form? Yes! See? See? We adapt. That's what makes gamers so cool, is we learn from our mistakes. And we improve. Look at that. It took me a while, but I still did it. Video game logic. Yeah! It took me a while, but I figured it out. Let's see. That's the trick, is the skeleton can only, the thrown skeleton can only attack you if it sees you. Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. It can attack where you were, but if you get behind it, it can't swing around and hit you. It has to be looking at you, so it has to dash back, and then it has to change, you know, its line of sight. That's how I beat it. Because before I was like, how in the world am I supposed to beat this thing? I was like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. And you just kind of calm down and... Psh. Yeah, essentially trial and error, but I mean, there aren't really a lot of video games outside of Monster Hunter and Dark Souls. How many games are really trial and error these days that you guys can name off the top of your head? And I said outside of Monster Hunter and Dark Souls and Bloodborne and things like that. There aren't that many genres anymore that is about trial and error outside of indie games. Indie games keep the lifeblood alive of gaming in the 90s and the early 2000s. Like, if it wasn't for indie games, gaming would be a very different thing this day and age. It would have been like exactly what I saw, which was a steady evolution from 2D to 3D. What's great about indie is indie brought back, during the big boom of like 3D games on PS3 and 360 and things like that, they had a market now for, you know, a resurgence of retro, like 2D games and stuff like that. And the amazing thing is they've kept that market going for 20 years. The indie scene is just still as strong as ever. That's what's crazy. And I love that, is the indie games are still around when a lot of people thought it was just going to be a novelty. Like, how in the world is this going to work? Like, how can you have a brand new 2D game in a landscape of all these 3D games? Like, who's going to want that? But retro found a way of not only surviving, but thriving on the indie scene, which is really cool. Which is probably why I love indie games so much, is a majority of them are 2D or, you know, 16-bit. Well, I guess it would all be 2D. Either 8-bit or 16-bit or 32-bit. There are some games that are like N64 quality, but not many. They still... Whoa, that's nasty. I don't like you. Please don't do that. Oh my gosh, you randomly combust too. That ain't cool, man. Oh, he can lunge afterwards. I see how it is. Okay. Boom, boom. Yoink. Ow, I got speared. And it took 2 of my hearts away. Nasty. This dude's nasty. That cat thing is nasty, man. Even without a head. Yo, that's not fair. He can't see me when he doesn't have a head. That's not right. He would need a head to know where I am. See, that's messed up. You can't do that. You wouldn't be able to sense my presence exactly with your fireballs. This isn't a kung fu movie. Oh, snap. Yo! Da, 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 da. Oh, that works. Come get some. Well, that's on you. Da, 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 da. That's spike death right there. Oh, I lost another heart. Wait, did I? Yeah. Something's happening where they keep removing my health keeps going down. I think the further you get in the game, the more they take your health thingy away. Maybe, I don't know. I think that's what they're doing. That's kind of messed up. No wonder the game is getting harder. They're limiting the amount of health that you can have, I think. Ow. What a crazy concept. Oh, my Riddler rage? The Riddler rage had to do with how ridiculous some of those Batmobile puzzles were. I have never, in all my years covering Arkham, you need more recognition? That's very kind of you. I don't think I've ever broken a controller. Whoa. Playing Arkham. I've broken a GameCube controller playing Dark Tomorrow until I learned how to cheese the game. Like, I can tell you this story. I've never told this story, so I'll tell this story. So, when I was doing Dark Tomorrow back in the day, like way before YouTube, I was trying to play the game normal. Learning combos, cuffing people, things like that. I hadn't mastered the art of the sweep kick. And nobody on the internet discovered it either. So, like, a lot of us were playing Dark Tomorrow the way that it was intended. Which is impossible to play. The camera angles are terrible. The combat system is horrible. The frame rates are so slow that it's impossible for Batman to respond quick enough when fighting an enemy, like a boss or anything. Even a regular goon can kill Batman so quickly in Dark Tomorrow. It was by a happy accident that we discovered that you could cheat the game by using the sweep kick. Because for whatever reason, that kick is so godly fast that and there was no way to patch the game either, because this was before patching. So, basically, you cheese the game by doing the sweep kick, and the enemies, they can't attack you. Every time they stand up, your kick is faster than their stand-up animation, so they're in an endless loop of being, like, sweeped until their health bar drains. And you can basically kill every single boss in the game with the sweep kick. Whether you're in the sewers, like, with the Rat King, it doesn't matter. Or not the Rat King, Rat Catcher. You're fighting Black Mask, it doesn't matter. The sweep kick, you can easily beat Dark Tomorrow until you get to the worst part of the game, which was the hang glider. The hang glider, even to this day, causes me to rage. because it is so badly designed that it is just rage-inducing. Like, with my heart issues nowadays, I don't think I can really do Dark Tomorrow the way that I used to, because I'd probably have a heart attack. Because of how angry I got playing that. And I'm trying to mellow out a little bit, because, like, my doctors warned me that if I get too angry, I can have a heart attack again. So, I'm trying to, in my, you know, I'm trying to be around for another 20 years for my wife or whatever. So I'm trying to be a little bit more chill as best I can. But I still get angry a lot. Oh, snap. I'm gonna get burned alive. Evil cat, evil cat, evil cat. What are you doing? 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 Oh, no, I messed that up. Oh, it killed itself. That's funny. I did not mean to do that. That's a happy accident. That's a very cool accident, but that was a happy accident. Mm-hmm. Does the last level have one heart? Probably, Gamewing. I guess we'll find out. We don't even know how many levels are in this bonus thing. I have no idea. We're finding out together, aren't we? Have I thought about making compilation videos of my old playthroughs? What do you mean by that? Can you, you mean clips? I have made clips of my old videos. They're called YouTube Shorts. It's just, it takes a lot of time. You have to remember that what makes a YouTuber famous is doing the work, and then in order to maintain the work, you have to hire employees. The reason why things got so bad for us is, like, when we got shadow banned, we had to fire our employees. So we had to get rid of our editor, we had to get rid of our license manager who helped with copyright claims and working with game developers, and we had to fire our PR guy, and we needed to fire our editor and our social media manager. So then all those 5 jobs became our responsibility again, like they were in 2010, 2009, 2012. So the reason why back in the day we were able to release so many videos on like a endless loop, it felt like, I would say right around 2013 until about 2018. We had an editor who was... I was not the one editing all those videos. Like, I would do the voiceover with Amber, and we would send the clips to our editor. We would basically send a care package with food and, you know, maybe... He was a big Dragon Ball fan, so as a bonus, I would get him, like, Dragon Ball memorabilia, because he was a bigger Dragon Ball fan than me. So I'd get him, like, Dragon Ball Z statues from Japan, and I'd give him a little extra incentive besides his salary. So I'd say thank you for doing this, because I'd put in, like, a whole portable hard drive back then, which wasn't a terabyte. It was, like, 500 gigabytes, I think. And it would have, like, 3 playthroughs of like 50 episodes or maybe 30 or 20 episodes, and then the editor would have to go through and turn all those and then upload those. And sometimes he couldn't upload those, so he would send the hard drive back to me because he lived in Louisiana. He'd send the hard drive back to me, and then I would go through and I would upload those videos. But we always had content constantly running because we would finish a series, and then as soon as the series was done, we would have a series that was ongoing on the channel already. The only thing that we did continuously every week was we recorded a new episode of Disney Infinity. Every series that we did was all done rapid fire. Like, the Transformer series we finished in a couple days. We went to the next series. Did that for like a week or two, then we went on to the next one. But content was always constantly being uploaded. So it never felt like there was a lull period because there was always new stuff that we were doing. And we were playing retro games, we were playing GameCube games and PS2 games and whatever. It was always constantly boom, 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 boom. But then when we got shadow banned, uploads didn't work anymore, so the machine halted, and then we had to do live streams. More, where live streams was just a side income. The YouTube channel on its own didn't need to live stream from 2015 until like 2019 we had to live stream. Because uploads were starting to slow down, we didn't have the editor anymore. And other things like that. So content was becoming a little bit more squeezed. And the algorithm was changing too, even before we got shadow banned, because we had to deal with the COPPA situation, which was a nightmare. With the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC for short. YouTube and the FTC made YouTube hell on earth for content creators for like 6 to 9 months. It was nasty. It was a bloodbath. It was really bad. A lot of YouTubers were getting very stressed because we thought our channels were going to get erased forever and going to get copyright claims, and a lot of us thought we were going to get sued by the FTC up to $45,000 per violation. So it was going to be a nasty, like, bankruptcy thing, you know. It was going to be terrible. And we were able to nip that in the bud, and then that's why I don't like this world. Like, we managed to survive that, and we thought it was smooth sailing, and then 6 months after we won the COPPA thing, thanks to the Federal Trade Commission and our lawyer, YouTube wasn't able to label our channel as for kids. Then 6 months after that, in October of 2020, that's when we got shadow banned and everything fell apart. Like, it just, like, there's no going back from that, which is why you see the channel in the state it is. Like, the only people who remember us are our haters, really, because nobody can see us. We get, on a daily basis, people coming to the channel and saying, "Oh my gosh, I thought you guys died," because they can't find our videos. Like, some people even have our videos, like, favorited, and they can't easily get to them because YouTube makes it so hard to find our content because we're shadow banned. So, like, it's not uncommon for people to come to the channel and be like, "Oh my gosh, I heard you guys died or got divorced," or, like, all these other things, because they hear all these internet rumors about us, but we're still here. If the smart people just come back to the channel every day, the ones that rely on YouTube to notify them, we see them for like a year, and then we don't see them again for 10 years, which has been happening a lot. And, you know, people get busy, people grow up, things like that. But if we weren't shadow banned, I guarantee you I would easily be making the living that I need without having to live stream like 12 or 13 hours a day. It wouldn't even be a thing. But because we would have our royalties. We don't have any royalty. All our viral videos are off. They're not in the search engine, so they don't collectively earn income. You have to constantly be getting views in order to get paid for your viral videos. You don't just get, oh, you hit 10 million views on your video, you're set for life. No. It has to constantly be getting millions or thousands of views in order for YouTube to continue to pay you. They don't pay you like, hey, congratulations on getting, you know, 300 viral videos in the million and up club. We're going to give you a salary per video of like $15 a day or $15 a month. No, they don't do that. You get $0. So even though we have an impressive like 19,000 videos, we don't get paid for all those 19,000 videos. We get paid for 150 videos a month. That's it. And it's 150 new videos, no old ones. Which is why you always see us live streaming. It's kind of like a cursed thing to experience, because it's like, it's an endless loop of like Groundhog Day. And what's happening is Amber and I are both getting older. Amber has high blood pressure, I have heart problems, or heart issues. It's not as bad as like most people with heart conditions, but I have heart issues. I have electrical issues or whatever, which it can be bad. Because I have to monitor it and all that other stuff. But oh no, not another boss. This is bad. I don't. I'm gonna try to watch the thing. But if we had as much income as we used to, I would do what I used to do back when you guys watched Disney Infinity. If you were lucky enough to live in New York or Boston, you might have seen on the highway a Kwings Let's Plays, like, what do you call it? Billboard, because I used to pay for billboards back in the day. Like, once a year, I would get a billboard for, like, $1,000 for, like, advertising for, like, a weekend in Boston, Plymouth, Cape Cod, Connecticut, whatever. Because word of mouth was always better than the internet. So, and then when the YouTube funds weren't like they were used to anymore, not only did I have to get rid of my employees, but I had to get rid of my marketing. Like I was spending like probably at least $4,000 every 6 months on marketing. That's how we were able to stay in the like 9 million views range a month, is because we were doing tons of marketing. Whichever YouTube channel does. Mr. Beast spends $1 million a month on marketing. Easily. You know? It's not just he has a YouTube channel and his fans do everything. No, he's spending millions of dollars to keep himself popular. Which, I mean, that's the game. If you have the money and you have a... Oh, crap. You have a good marketing team, you can pretty much do anything. It's not just, oh, YouTuber is popular, they're always going to be popular. No, you have to do a lot of work to stay popular, and you have to spend a lot of money. And once we got shadow banned, it's like, there's no way I can really spend money because the channel doesn't make anywhere near what it needs to. So I can't even do a newspaper ad for our channel. You know? So, I mean, there's lots of factors. In order to stay popular on YouTube, you need to spend money. It's the old saying, you need to spend money to make money. You need to advertise on social media. You need to have lots of social media, but you also have to advertise offline. So you have to advertise billboards and marketing ads, websites, newspapers, all kinds of things. Bumper stickers. All that costs money. Okay, I'm beat. I surrender for now. But I had a lovely time. I hope you guys had fun. I owe GamerGal another stream, so we'll be doing the main story again next time. I played something really freaky earlier today with all the Chinese zombies and stuff, so I wanted a chill ultimate stream tonight, because this game is kind of a horror game. And I don't need more crazy stuff when I was dealing with faceless Chinese zombies and creepy women ghost things. So, but I will see you guys at 10 in the morning for the Nintendo Direct. Thank you again to GamerGal. Make sure you guys thank GamerGal for her generosity. And GamerGal, let me know what is a good availability for your next stream, because I owe you. This was what month was this? April? Was this April or May? Because I think the last one I did for you was in March, end of March. Unless I did get you in April, I don't know. May was really hectic, so I got behind pretty badly. Isn't it cool, guys and gals? This channel has done 833 Ultimate streams. So we've had people sponsor us, which is an amazing feeling, by the way, knowing that people care enough to basically, you know, sponsor you like that. For 800 videos or live streams, people have given us $100 a month, like 10 to 15 people for like years, in order for us to make 833 Ultimate Selects, VIP created live streams. No other YouTuber does this. No other YouTuber has done this as long as I have, too, with the VIP program. But it literally, if it wasn't for our Ultimates, we would have gone out of business like as soon as we got shadow banned. So you guys, the VIPs, you're the lifeblood of the channel. Like we can't survive without our VIP program. And thank God that we came up with the Omega program, because that $500 tier is saving our lives too. Which we were hard at work on that. We'll start releasing Naomi's series this weekend. Naomi paid, she's the first ever Omega channel VIP. I don't even know if VIP is the right word for it. An Omega is basically like a channel director, I would say. Because they're paying what we consider a good wage to make 8 videos. 8 uploaded videos. The time involved, the editing, all that stuff. So that the $500 fee is it's a good thing. Like, but it's also it is difficult to do, but it's important to do it. But I have to play catch up with a lot of VIPs, because I missed VIPs in April and I missed VIPs in May, and then I'm gonna have to get VIPs in June. So I'm gonna be pretty busy the next couple months. So we're gonna have to double up on streams for people, but also we have to mind my health, because I'm not as spry as I used to be. Unfortunately, that heart attack last year really messed me up, which makes me really mad. But not much I can do about it, you know. I'm doing the best I can. Alrighty, so you guys have a wonderful night. You'll be redirected to the Nintendo Direct, and that's it. That's all. If you guys want more of that Chinese game, which Amber and I both love, because the Chinese game reminds Amber of her grandfather, who was from China. If you guys could do what you could to keep that series alive, you're currently at 850 views. 1,000 is needed for the Chinese game to get part 3, and it's a really cool game. It's available on PS5, Xbox, and Steam, and it's a really well made game. So the fact that something this new is struggling is kind of sad, because it's amazing. It's a well made game. It's really funny, good voice acting, good gameplay, good action, a lot of stuff to do in the game, beautiful environments, and it only has 850 views in the past almost 3 hours. So, alright peeps, I'm going to bed. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you again, GamerGout, and I will see you guys at 10 in the morning. So I've got, how many hours of sleep can I get? Probably 6 hours. Alright guys, take care.